Captain Eric Bennett stood at the viewing window of the diplomatic ship Eagle as it approached the massive ring structure that served as the headquarters of the Galactic Council. The year was 2157, and humanity had achieved faster-than-light travel just 3 years ago. The swirling blue and purple gases of the Andromeda Nebula provided a stunning backdrop to the Council station. Despite the beauty before him, Eric felt only dread. "Captain, we're receiving docking instructions," said Lieutenant Sam Carter from his station. Eric nodded. "Take us in slowly. Remember their protocols." Ambassador Lisa Warren joined Eric at the window, her face tight with worry. "I don't have a good feeling about this meeting, Captain." "Neither do I, Ambassador, but we have to try." This was humanity's third meeting with the Council. The first had been First Contact, filled with excitement and promise. The second had been tense, with several Council species expressing concerns about human history and behavior. This third meeting would decide Earth's fate in the galactic community. The Council chamber was vast, with seating for representatives of all 27 member species. The Xanthari, tall beings with pale blue skin and 6 eyes, occupied the central seats. They had founded the Council 10,000 years ago, and still led it. Lisa and Eric took their places at the center of the chamber. Around them, alien faces showed a mixture of curiosity, concern, and in some cases, clear hostility. The head Xanthari, Elder Zarn, spoke in a voice that seemed to echo from all directions. "Humans of Earth, we have reviewed your species' history and current development trajectory. We have deliberated and reached a decision." Eric felt his heart sink. The tone alone told him what was coming. Humanity has shown remarkable technological progress, but coupled with concerning patterns of behavior. Your wars, your environmental destruction, your rapid consumption of resources, these traits make you unpredictable and dangerous. Lisa stepped forward. "Elder Zarn, with respect, we have overcome many of these challenges. Our world is at peace. We have restored much of our environment. We ask for the chance to prove ourselves as worthy members of the galactic community." Murmurs filled the chamber. Some seemed sympathetic, but most did not. "The decision is made," Elder Zarn said firmly. "By vote of 22 to 5, the Council has decided to banish humanity from all Council territories. Warning beacons will be placed around your solar system. No Council species will be permitted to trade with, communicate with, or assist humans in any way." "This is not fair," Eric shouted, forgetting diplomatic protocol. "You can't judge an entire species based on its past. The judgment is based not only on your past, but on our projections of your future," a Krell representative hissed from the side. "Humans are too unpredictable, too aggressive. Better to contain the threat now." The chamber erupted in arguments. The 5 species who had voted against the banishment were trying to speak up for humanity, but their voices were drowned out. Elder Zarn raised his 4 arms, and silence fell. "Our decision is final. You will be escorted back to your system. The warning beacons will be activated within 1 Earth month. This meeting is concluded." On the journey home, Eric found Lisa in the ship's observation lounge, staring at the stars. "How will we tell Earth?" she whispered. "We tell them the truth. The Council fears us. They fear what we might become." Lisa turned to him, unexpected fire in her eyes. "Then perhaps we should become something they never imagined." Eric nodded slowly. "If they won't let us join their community, we'll build our own." 3 weeks later, they watched from Earth orbit as alien ships placed the warning beacons at the edge of the solar system. Like digital walls, they cut humanity off from the rest of the galaxy. President Martin addressed the United Nations that evening. "Today, we have been rejected by the stars. But humanity has faced rejection before. We have faced disasters, plagues, wars, and we have survived. We will not merely survive this banishment. We will thrive despite it. If the galaxy will not accept us, then we will forge our own path among the stars. And one day, they will regret the choice they made today." The beacons glowed red in the darkness of space, a boundary and a challenge. Humanity looked up at them, not with despair, but with determination. The banishment had begun. 20 years passed since the day of banishment. Earth grew crowded as the population increased but remained trapped within the solar system. Resources became harder to find. People looked to the stars with longing, knowing the red warning beacons still circled their system like a cage. Dr. Alan Peterson walked quickly through the underground research facility in Nevada. His heart beat fast as he carried his data tablet. After 15 years of work, he had finally done it. "Madam President, thank you for coming," Alan said as he entered the conference room. President Olivia Martinez nodded seriously. "Your message said it was urgent, Doctor. I hope it's good news for a change." "The best news." Alan placed his tablet on the table and brought up a holographic display. "We've improved the faster-than-light drive. The Council's technology allows their ships to jump 5 light years at a time. Our new drives can jump 20. The room fell silent. Then the military advisor, General Steve Rogers, spoke up. "Are you certain, Doctor? This would change everything. I've tested it 3 times with unmanned probes. It works. And there's more." Alan showed another set of calculations. The Council doesn't patrol beyond their other territories. There are thousands of star systems they've never claimed. Systems with habitable planets. President Martinez stood up slowly. "You're suggesting we can go beyond the banishment, beyond their reach." "Exactly. We can start colonies, many colonies, and the Council might not even notice for decades." 2 months later, in a hidden shipyard on Mars, Kate Hudson inspected the massive colony ship Pathfinder. As the chosen leader of the first colony mission, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. "The ship is ready," said Chief Engineer Bill Taylor. "We've installed the Peterson drive and loaded all supplies. The 2,000 colonists are in cryo-sleep. We can leave whenever you give the word." Kate nodded. "Any sign of Council observers?" "None. We've been careful. All communications have been through hard lines. Nothing broadcast that could be detected." "Good." Kate looked at the ship that would carry humanity's hopes. "We launch tonight." The Pathfinder slipped away from Mars under cover of darkness. It approached the edge of the solar system cautiously, sensors watching for any sign of Council ships. The red warning beacons blinked their silent message. "Restricted species. Do not engage." "Beacons are on our port side," reported Navigator John Kelly. "We'll pass beyond their sensor range in 3 minutes." Kate gripped her chair tightly. "Prepare the Peterson drive for jump as soon as we're clear." The bridge crew worked in tense silence. If they were caught, the Council might punish Earth severely. Everything depended on a clean escape. "We're beyond beacon range," John announced finally. "Activate the drive," Kate ordered. The stars blurred and stretched. For a moment, the ship seemed to exist in 2 places at once. Then they were 20 light years away, in uncharted space. Cheers erupted on the bridge. Kate allowed herself a small smile before restoring order. "This is just the beginning." Set course for the Centauri Reach system. 3 weeks later, the Pathfinder orbited a blue-green planet. Scans showed breathable air, fresh water, and fertile soil. They named it New Dawn. As Kate led the first landing party, she stepped onto the soil of humanity's first world beyond Earth. "Mark this day," she said to the colonists gathering around her. "This is day 1 of the human expansion." Back on Earth, President Martinez addressed the United Nations. "The Pathfinder has successfully established our first colony. Already, we are building more ships. The great exodus has begun." On screens around the world, people watched as more massive ships took shape in the shipyards of Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt. Millions volunteered for the colony programs. General Rogers updated the defense plans. "We're establishing military outposts at each colony. If the Council discovers us, we'll be ready." President Martinez nodded. "They thought they could contain us. They were wrong. From one world to many, our future begins today." Far away on New Dawn, Kate watched the sunset on their new world. "We made it," she whispered. "And this is just the first step." 50 years had passed since the first human colony was established. Now 37 human worlds dotted the unexplored regions of the galaxy. The colony of Nexus Prime, the furthest from Earth, had grown into a bustling hub of trade between human settlements. Governor Frank Miller walked through the busy market of Nexus Prime's main city. The colony had prospered under his leadership for the past 5 years. Today, however, he was troubled by strange reports from the outer farms. "Governor, we have a situation," said Security Chief Laura West, approaching quickly. "Unknown ships have entered orbit. They don't match any human design." Frank's heart raced. "Council ships?" "No, sir. Something else entirely." Within an hour, Frank stood in the colony's defense center, watching the view screen as 3 sleek, silver vessels hovered above Nexus Prime. They had made no aggressive moves, but had ignored all communication attempts. "Sir, they're sending a signal now," reported Communications Officer Peter Grant. A face appeared on screen, clearly non-human, with gray skin, large black eyes, and no visible nose. When it spoke, the translation computer converted its clicks and whistles. "People of this world, we are Valkyrie. We seek peaceful contact." Frank stepped forward. "I am Governor Frank Miller of Nexus Prime, a human colony. We welcome peaceful visitors." The Valkyrie seemed to study him. "Humans, we have heard of your kind. The banished ones." "Yes," Frank replied cautiously. "The Galactic Council rejected us 50 years ago. The Council banished our people 400 years ago. We are kindred spirits." 2 days later, Frank sat across from the Valkyrie leader, Chieftain Coral, in the colony's meeting hall. They had been discussing their people's histories. "The Council feared our nomadic nature," Coral explained. "They said we could not be trusted because we did not claim permanent worlds. But the truth was, they feared our trading network might grow too influential." Frank nodded. "They feared us for our history of conflict, but I think they truly feared how quickly we advanced." Coral made a clicking sound that the translator didn't catch. "We have wandered the outer regions since our banishment. We have ships and technology, but few places to call home. And we have worlds and resources, but our technology still lags behind the Council's," Frank said thoughtfully. "Perhaps there is a way we can help each other." Over the next weeks, humans and Valkyrie worked to understand each other. The Valkyrie were masters of space travel and energy systems. Humans offered them something they had never had: planets where they could settle permanently if they wished. "We propose an alliance," Frank said at the formal meeting a month later. "You share your technology, we share our worlds. Together, we can both grow stronger." Coral extended a 4-fingered hand. "Agreed. The outcasts shall unite." 6 months later, the first joint human-Valkyrie ships patrolled the space around Nexus Prime. Incorporating Valkyrie designs, they were faster and more powerful than anything humans had built before. They came just in time. A Council scout ship, wandering beyond its usual territory, discovered the growing colony and the alien ships in orbit. "Council vessel detected," announced the sensor operator aboard the defense ship Guardian. "They've seen us and are transmitting to Council space." Captain Ryan Lewis made his decision quickly. "Intercept them before they can jump to FTL. We can't let them report back." The Guardian and 2 Valkyrie ships moved to block the Council scout. The Council vessel fired first, its weapons more advanced but outnumbered 3-1. The battle was brief but fierce. When it ended, the Council ship drifted powerless, its crew contained but alive. On Nexus Prime, Frank received the news with mixed feelings. "It's done then. The Council will know about us soon enough." Coral stood beside him, watching the stars through the window. "Yes, but now they will learn that humans are not alone. The Banished have become powerful together." Frank nodded. "Have our ships ready. When the Council comes in force, we must be prepared." "We will be," said Coral. This was only the first victory of many to come. Word spread quickly among the human colonies. They had found allies, fought their first battle against the Council, and won. The human empire had taken its first step onto the greater galactic stage. A century had passed since humanity's banishment. The human colonies had grown and joined together to form the Terran Union, a confederation of 53 worlds spanning a large section of the outer galaxy. At its center was the planet New Terra, where Chancellor Diane Cooper looked out at the city below her office window. "Chancellor, Mr. Garcia has arrived," her assistant said through the intercom. Diane turned from the window. "Send him in." Joseph Garcia walked in with quick, confident steps. Once a military intelligence officer, he now approached 60, but looked younger thanks to advanced medical treatments. His eyes, however, showed his true age and experience. "Thank you for meeting me, Chancellor," Joseph said. "What I'm about to propose isn't exactly standard procedure." Diane gestured to a chair. "After that battle at Nexus Prime, the Council has increased patrols near our space. We need every advantage we can get. Tell me your idea." "We know too little about the Council's plans," Joseph explained. "We need eyes and ears inside their territory. I propose creating the Shadow Network, spies who can infiltrate Council space and gather intelligence." Diane frowned. "The Council would execute anyone caught spying." "Yes, which is why our agents would be volunteers only, and the best we have. Some would be human, others would be Valkyrie, and perhaps even members of other species who oppose the Council. Can it be done? Their technology can detect our ships." Joseph smiled slightly. "With Valkyrie stealth technology and some new ideas I've been working on, yes, we can get our people in." 6 months later, Susan Bell sat in a busy spaceport bar on the Council world of Trellis, a trading hub near the border of human space. Disguised as a trader from one of the minor Council species, she sipped her drink while listening to conversations around her. A blue-skinned Novan sat down beside her. "The shipment prices have increased again," he said casually, the coded greeting she had been waiting for. "The Council taxes everything these days," Susan replied with the correct response. The Novan, who called himself Vare, leaned closer. "My people grow tired of Zinthuri rules and taxes. We are not the only ones. Perhaps there are others who share your concerns," Susan said carefully. "The Tyrillians have already formed resistance cells on 3 worlds," Var whispered. "We have contacts in their network. Many species chafe under Council rule." Susan nodded slowly. This was exactly the kind of information Joseph had sent her to find. "Tell me more." Over the next 2 years, the Shadow Network grew. Human and Valkyrie agents, disguised as various Council species, moved through Council space. They gathered information, made contacts, and built relationships with those who were unhappy under Council rule. In a secure underground room on New Terra, Joseph Garcia briefed Chancellor Cooper and her advisors. "The network has confirmed that at least 5 Council species have active resistance movements," he reported. "The Novans and Tyrillians are the most organized. They've reached out to ask if we would support them if they rebel." Admiral Pete Dawson looked skeptical. "Support a rebellion against the Council? That could start a war we're not ready for." Joseph nodded. "It's risky, but our agents have also discovered something else." He displayed a holographic map. "The Council is building up military forces here, and here, all near our border. They're planning to attack us. It's just a matter of when." Chancellor Cooper studied the map, her face grave. "Then perhaps we should strike first, in a way they won't expect. Not with ships and weapons, but by helping these resistance movements. If we create enough internal problems for the Council," Joseph added, "they might delay their plans against us. Or accelerate them," Admiral Dawson warned. Chancellor Cooper was silent for a long moment. "The Council has never given us a choice. They banished us, and now they plan to destroy us. We must use every tool we have." She looked at Joseph, Expand the shadow network. Tell the resistance groups we will support them. Joseph nodded. Yes, Chancellor. That evening, encrypted messages traveled through secret channels to Susan Bell and other agents throughout Council space. The seeds of rebellion had been planted, and the Terran Union would help them grow. The Council thought they could isolate us. Chancellor Cooper told her cabinet. Instead, we have found allies where they least expect it. The fight for our future has begun. 200 years after the banishment, human colonies had spread to over 100 worlds. On the research planet of Vertex, lead scientist Paul Wright stood in his lab surrounded by glowing holographic displays. After 10 years of work, his team had finally achieved a breakthrough. Dr. Wright, the Union Secretary of Science, is here, his assistant said. Paul looked up from his work. Send her in, please. Secretary Gina Martinez entered, her eyes immediately drawn to the strange device on the central table. It looked like a silver headband with thin wires connecting to a small box. Is this it? She asked. The technology that's so important you called me from Nuterra. Paul smiled. Yes, Secretary. We call it Adaptive Integration Technology, or AIT. It allows the human mind to directly interface with and understand alien technology. Paul placed the headband on his head and activated it. Immediately, the alien device on the table, a broken Valkyrie power cell, lit up. Paul's hands moved with certainty as he repaired it, making improvements as he went. The AIT translates the design concepts into forms our brains can understand, he explained, and it works both ways. We can feed our ideas back into alien tech, upgrading it beyond its original design. Gina watched in amazement. This could change everything. How quickly can we distribute this to our research centers? Production is already underway. Within a year, every major Union facility will have AIT units. Across Union space, the new technology spread rapidly. Human engineers could now understand and improve upon technologies from the Valkyrie and other allied species. Progress that would have taken decades happened in months. On the border world of Nova Haven, Admiral Grace Mitchell stood on the bridge of the Union battleship Defiance. The ship incorporated the latest advancements from the AIT program, improved shields, more powerful weapons, and engines that outperformed anything in the known galaxy. Admiral, 3 Council warships have appeared at the edge of the system, reported her tactical officer. They're heading straight for the colony. Grace nodded calmly. They've been testing our borders for months. Today they learn what we can do. Battle stations. The Defiance moved to intercept the Council ships. The lead Council vessel transmitted a message. Human vessel, this system is now under Council protection. Surrender or be destroyed. Send no reply, Grace ordered. Bring us within weapons range. The Council ships fired first, their energy beams streaking across space. The Defiance's new shields flared but held strong. Return fire, Grace commanded. The Defiance's weapons lashed out, cutting through the lead Council ship's shields as if they were paper. The Council vessels tried to surround the human ship, not realizing they were facing technology far beyond what they expected. 20 minutes later, 2 Council ships drifted powerless in space. The third had retreated to warn the Council. In the Council chamber on Zinfara, the Zinthari elder Maaltek faced angry representatives from many species. How could one human ship defeat 3 of our best cruisers? Demanded the Krell ambassador. You assured us human technology was primitive. The humans have advanced faster than our projections, Maaltek admitted, but they remain a minor threat. A Tyrillian representative stood up. Minor. They have over 100 worlds now. They have allies. And now they have technology that can defeat our best ships. On the Union capital of Nuterra, Chancellor Ben Foster received the news of the Defiance's victory with mixed feelings. It was a proud moment for humanity, but he knew what would come next. The Council will not ignore this, he told his advisors. They will come in greater numbers next time. His military commander nodded. And we'll be ready for them. Every day, our technology improves. The AIT program has given us advantages they cannot match. Far away on Vertex, Paul Wright was already working on the next generation of improvements. The holographic displays around him showed designs for technologies that even the Valkyrie had never imagined. The Council thought banishment would weaken us, he said to his team. Instead, it forced us to become stronger than we ever could have been under their rule. The technological revolution had begun, and humanity was leading the way. The Shadow Network had grown powerful over the decades. Human agents moved through Council space with increasing boldness, making contact with more and more discontented species. The Novans and Tyrillians had built up large resistance movements, inspired by stories of human defiance against Council rule. William Kelly, a Union diplomat, sat in a dimly lit room on a distant trading post. Across from him were leaders of the Novan and Tyrillian rebellions. They had risked everything to attend this secret meeting. "The Council grows weaker each day," said Sora, the Novan leader. Her blue skin seemed to glow in the low light. "Their hold over the member worlds is slipping." Krav, the Tyrillian commander, nodded. His reptilian features remained still, but his voice was passionate. "My people have weapons caches on 12 worlds. We are ready to rise up, but we need support." William leaned forward. "The Terran Union is prepared to help. We can provide ships, weapons, and training. In return, we ask for an alliance when the fighting is done." "You ask us to trust humans," Krav said, "the species we were taught to fear." "You were taught to fear us because the Zintheri feared us," William replied calmly. "They fear any species that might challenge their power. That's why they banished us. That's why they keep your people under control." Before Sora could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. A voice came over the comm system. "Council security forces are boarding. All decks, prepare for inspection." William stood quickly. "They found us. We need to move. Now." "There's no escape," Krav said. "The docking bays will be the first place they secure." William smiled. "Not all ships dock in the regular bays." He touched a hidden communicator on his wrist. "Phoenix, we need extraction. 3 passengers." Within minutes, the wall of the room shimmered and seemed to disappear, revealing a hidden passage that hadn't been there before. Beyond it was a small, sleek ship unlike anything the alien leaders had seen. "Union stealth technology," William explained. "Come with me if you want to live." As Council forces stormed through the station, the invisible Union ship slipped away undetected, carrying the rebel leaders to safety. Back on New Terra, Chancellor Edward Parker and his advisors listened to William's report. "The Council knows we're supporting the rebels now," William concluded. "They'll increase security everywhere." "It doesn't matter," said Admiral Henry Patterson. "The uprising has already begun. We've received reports of fighting on 7 Council worlds. The Novans have taken control of 3 orbital stations. The Tyrillians have captured a Council shipyard." Chancellor Parker studied the strategic display. "Send the 5th Fleet to support the Tyrillian forces. The 3rd Fleet will assist the Novans. It's time we moved from shadows into the open." 3 days later, news spread through the galaxy. Major species within the Council were in open rebellion. When Council forces moved to crush the uprisings, Union fleets appeared to protect the rebel worlds. On the Zintheri homeworld, the Council chamber was in chaos. "The humans are behind this," shouted the Krell representative. "They turned our own members against us." Elder Maltech struggled to maintain order. "We will crush these rebellions, and the humans who support them." A Centauri diplomat stood up. "My world withdraws from the Council. We will not fight against those seeking freedom." Other representatives began to stand as well, declaring their worlds neutral or in support of the rebels. The Council was fracturing before their eyes. In deep space, Admiral Patterson watched as his fleet joined with Tyrillian rebel ships to face an approaching Council armada. "This will be the largest battle we've fought yet," his executive officer said nervously. Patterson nodded. "And it won't be the last. But remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves now. We're fighting for all those who have suffered under Council rule." The comm officer looked up. "Sir, we're receiving transmissions from 3 more Council worlds. They're declaring support for the rebellion." Patterson smiled. "The tide is turning. The Galactic Civil War has begun, and we will win it." Across the stars, the rebellion spread like wildfire. Humanity, once banished and alone, now led a coalition fighting for a new future. 300 years after humanity's banishment, the Galactic Civil War had raged for decades. Planet by planet, system by system, the old Council lost ground to the combined forces of the Terran Union and its allies. Now the final battle loomed. Fleet Admiral Jack Murphy stood on the bridge of the massive command ship Unity, the largest vessel ever built by human hands. Around it, over 5,000 ships from 17 different species formed the largest fleet the galaxy had ever seen. "Status report," Jack ordered, his voice calm despite the historic moment. "All battle groups report ready, Admiral," his executive officer replied. "The Novan and Terillian fleets are in position. Valkyrie scout ships report minimal activity around Zinthura." Jack nodded. "They think their homeworld is too well defended to attack. Today they learn otherwise." He opened a channel to the entire fleet. "All ships, commence Operation Daybreak." The massive armada jumped into hyperspace. When they emerged, the Zinthuri homeworld filled their view screens. A beautiful blue-green planet surrounded by defense platforms and a protective fleet. "They've spotted us," reported the sensor officer. "Enemy ships moving to intercept." "Launch fighters. All capital ships, target their defense platforms," Jack ordered. "Ground forces, prepare for deployment." The space around Zinthura erupted in light and fire as the largest battle in galactic history began. Union technology, advanced beyond anything the founding species of the Council had imagined possible, tore through the outer defenses. On the planet below, Commander Linda Harris led the ground assault team. Her dropship shook violently as it entered the atmosphere through anti-aircraft fire. "Remember your training," she told her mixed force of humans, Novans, and other allied species. "Our objective is the Council chamber. We need to capture it intact with all its records." The dropships landed in the sprawling capital city. Council forces fought fiercely, but they were outmatched by the determination and advanced weaponry of the Union forces. Linda led her team through the grand boulevards toward the towering Council headquarters. The fighting was brutal, house to house, street to street, but hour by hour they pushed forward. "Commander, we've reached the main plaza," reported her second-in-command. "The Council building is just ahead." Linda looked up at the massive structure that had stood for 10,000 years as the center of galactic power. "All teams, converge on the main entrance. This ends today." Above the planet, the space battle turned decisively in favor of the Union forces. Most of the defending ships had been destroyed or had surrendered. Admiral Murphy watched from the Unity as the last major Council battleship was disabled. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the surface," said his communications officer. Linda's face appeared on screen, her armor dirty and damaged, but her eyes bright with victory. "Admiral, the Council chamber is secured. We've captured the Zinthuri elders and seized their records." A cheer went up across the bridge. Jack allowed a small smile. "Excellent work, Commander. What about the records?" "Sir, you need to see this. Our data teams are going through the Council archives now. They'd found something disturbing." Hours later, Admiral Murphy and other Union leaders stood in the ancient Council chamber. The walls were lined with data screens showing information recovered from the Zinthuri archives. "It's all here," said the lead data analyst. "For over 10,000 years, the Zinthuri have been manipulating the Council. Any species they viewed as a potential threat was either controlled or banished. Humanity wasn't the first. The Valkyrie, the Solari, at least 5 other species were banished for the same reason. They feared competition," Jack said quietly. "They kept the galaxy divided to maintain their power." Linda nodded. And they kept knowledge hidden. These archives contain technologies the Xanthari never shared with the rest of the Council. News of the discovery spread quickly through Union communications channels, then to the remaining loyal Council worlds. As the truth about Xanthari manipulation became known, the last pockets of resistance began to surrender. In the Grand Plaza outside the Council building, Admiral Murphy addressed the combined forces. Today marks the end of the old Council and its rule of fear and division. The war is over. The troops cheered, species that once fought each other now standing side by side in victory. The galaxy would never be the same again. 500 years had passed since humanity's banishment from galactic society. Now representatives from over 50 species gathered on the planet Harmony, a beautiful world situated at what was once the border between human and Council space. In the center of the new capital city stood the Federation Hall, its crystal dome gleaming in the sunlight. Inside, delegates from across the galaxy filled the circular chamber, their voices a mix of excitement and nervous anticipation. President Daniel Taylor of the Terran Union walked to the central podium. At 65, his hair was gray, but his voice remained strong and clear. The chamber fell silent as he began to speak. 5 centuries ago, humanity stood alone, rejected by the stars. Today, we stand together with friends and former enemies alike, ready to build something new. He looked around at the assembled delegates. The old Council fell because it was built on fear and dominance. Our new United Galactic Federation will be founded on equality and cooperation. In the front row sat representatives of the former Council races, including the Xanthari. Once the proud rulers of galactic society, they now joined as equals. Beside them sat delegates from the species that had been banished over the centuries, the Valkyrie, the Solari, and others who had found common cause with humanity. The charter before you today guarantees equal rights and representation for all member worlds. President Taylor continued. No single species will dominate our future. Together, we will explore, build, and grow in ways none of us could achieve alone. The voting was unanimous. As delegates pressed the approval buttons at their stations, the great seal of the new Federation appeared on screens throughout the chamber. A spiral galaxy with stars of different colors representing the member species, all shining with equal brightness. In a quiet corner of the chamber, an elderly human woman watched the proceedings with tears in her eyes. Ambassador Lisa Warren, now 103 years old, had been present at humanity's banishment centuries ago. Only advanced medical technology had allowed her to live long enough to see this day. A young aide approached her. Ambassador Warren, President Taylor would like you to join him for the signing ceremony. Lisa smiled and rose slowly. I wouldn't miss it. As she made her way to the podium, delegates from all species stood in respect. She had become a symbol of humanity's journey, from rejection to leadership. President Taylor welcomed her with a gentle embrace. Ambassador Warren will sign first, as she was there when our journey began. Lisa stepped forward and pressed her hand to the document scanner. Her signature appeared on the Charter of the United Galactic Federation, the first of many to come. Later that evening, a celebration filled the gardens outside Federation Hall. Species that had once been enemies now talked, laughed, and shared food and drink together. Near a quiet fountain, President Taylor found Lisa watching the stars. "What are you thinking, Ambassador?" he asked. "I'm thinking about how differently things might have turned out," she replied. "If the Council had welcomed us 500 years ago, would we be where we are today? Would all these species have found freedom?" Daniel considered this. Perhaps not. Our banishment forced us to become stronger, more innovative. It pushed us to build alliances the Council never imagined possible. "They meant to weaken us by casting us out," Lisa said softly. "Instead, they set us on the path to build something greater than they ever achieved." Across the garden, a Xanthari representative approached a group of Novans and Tyrillians, former enemies now cautiously beginning new relationships. Near them, human scientists discussed new research with Valkyrie engineers, continuing the technological partnership that had changed the galaxy. "We didn't just build an empire," Daniel observed. "We built a future where everyone has a place." Lisa nodded, looking up at the stars that had once seemed so distant and forbidden. The Council feared what humanity might become. In trying to prevent it, they'd made it possible. As night fell on Harmony, ships from dozens of worlds orbited peacefully above. The once banished species had not only survived, they had created a new era of cooperation that would span the galaxy for generations to come.